Uh-oh. You know what time it is. I know you seen the title. There's no way you didn't. I know you see what I'm doing. Wait, hold on 1 second. I need to do one thing before I start this. You can't see what I'm doing though. Let me do it right now. One second, my bad. I should already had this ready. All right. My bad. I'm ready. One Piece chapter 1158. Let me put the screen up in a second. Right here. Hold on. Gotta make sure I got it cropped and all that properly. I'm not trying to get copyright. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, One Piece. Let's make sure the mic is moving. I ain't do a live stream in a minute. So listen, like every other chapter, right? I've seen a couple of spoilers. Well, no, actually, no, I'm saying that wrong. I only seen one spoiler. I seen one spoiler this time, right? Usually I see a couple. This time I only seen one, and I barely seen it. Listen, I only know that there's something about Shanks and Shamrock. Shanks and Shamrock. There's something about them, right? And I seen them as babies. I don't know what it means. I don't know what's going on. I just know that there's something about Shanks and Shamrock. I didn't see anything else. Okay. So let's get right into the chapter. Okay. So is the mic good? Let's do a mic check. I hope the music is not too loud. Sometimes. Okay, yeah, that should be good right there. I turned the music down a little bit more. Okay. Without further ado, Rocks versus Harold. Crazy title, okay. And then the cover page, we see Yamato finally leaving the shrine. And Oda is taking his sweet time. Let me tell you this, right? Oda is taking his sweet time with the shrine. And we see the grave. It's Kozuki Moria. Who is that? Who is Kozuki Moria? Let me type that in real quick. Kozuki Moria. There's no picture for Kozuki Moria, a member of the Kozuki family. The Kozuki family, that was Oden's family, right? Oh yeah, okay. So we don't know about who that is. He was a pirate of justice. He was born in the West Blue, grew up in Wano. He fought against Kaido to defend his village and died without a trace of his body remaining. Okay, so he fought Kaido. And they think that he's an alias of Gecko Moria. I don't think so. But yep, this is the grave the Yamato said. You see the name right here on the side, right? So a member of the Kozuki family. Ogre Child, Yamato's Golden Harvest, Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 40. Here lies the heroic pirate of justice. Okay, let's get past it. I took really long on that, but let's get right in, right? So, right here, we're starting up with Roger, I see Roger right here. It says in a certain stretch of the sea, Oro Jackson, Roger's ship. They said, hey, Captain Roger. They're saying Shaki opened up her own bar on Pirate Island, and it's all the rage too. And he's mad. He's like, oh, damn. Pirate Island? Okay, damn. They said we're so bummed out when she abdicated her emperor's throne. But now that we know where to find her, let's go check it out. And remember that Pirate Island is under Rock's control. Somebody said that. Somebody said, yo, you know Rayleigh? Oh, that's Gabon. He said, you know Rayleigh? I couldn't help but notice that Roger's mood soured right after you two had that conversation in the cabin. He said, what did you talk about? It was nothing. And now we're seeing what they talked about. He said, I wasn't going to tell anybody about this, but I'm making a special exception for you, Roger. So this is when we fought the Kuja before she abdicated. Okay. So no, we don't see what he's talking about. Hold on. No, okay, no, this is the flashback, my bad. He said, I remember in that Shakuyaku seemed to be aligning. Ailing. Oh, I said aligning, ailing from some kind of illness. When I heard the news that she was giving up her position, I worried for her health. And it turns out that ever since you've been sitting on this note, she passed it to you. He said, I know it was awkward to bring it up. Roger's mad as hell. He said, it's clearly a love letter. How else should this shit be interpreted? He didn't say shit. So Shaki sent him a love letter. It says, come and get me, Shakuyaku. You said, and you say you're not tempted by all this. I wouldn't say there's no temptation. I just don't want to be tied down, you know? Roger said, well, I do. He wants to be tied down. He said, well, I do. Stop playing with me. You don't want to be tied down. I do, Rayleigh. So Roger's mad as hell. He said, listen up, Rayleigh. I'm not admitting defeat yet. And they said, oh, look out. Roger's feeling feisty again. He was all sad. Because Shaki clearly loves Rayleigh. And the sickness that he's talking about that's ailing her, obviously we know what that is. That's the love sickness, right? So she left the Kuja Pirates to go chase that, her love and whatnot, right? And she found Rayleigh. And Rayleigh ended up being with her, but he just leave whenever the fuck he want. And she dealing with that. And obviously she's satisfied, right? Because she didn't turn out like old and decrepit like Stussy and, Big Mom and everybody else, right? But Roger said pillaging is a pirate's true calling. If you want something, you take it. Ain't that right, boys? He said, you talking about Shaki? He said, that's right. Why would she be at Roxas Island of all places? Everyone should have an equal shot. Let's go and take her. Oh, so, Roger's about to kidnap Shaki. Okay. He said, I'm hungry. Feed me, Marks. Grub's already on. Eat all you want. And let's go and take her. So they're trying to take her. Okay. Slightly earlier in time. Wait, whoa. So we went back even earlier. Let's go back. I don't know what they mean. So this is like, so we're still in the flashback. So I don't remember how long ago last chapter's flashback was, but we have been getting closer to, God Valley and how long ago that was. But now they're saying slightly earlier in time. So is this before? That's a little confusing me right now. I don't know. Like, I'm sure it's not before this scene, right? With rocks and all them. But they're saying earlier in time in general, right? I don't know. It could be either or. So, okay, let's read it, right? I started looking at something else, my bad. So it says, the sacred marriage vow 4 years ago. You're getting ahead of yourself, Garland. The previous tourney just ended. So they're talking about that tournament where they're capturing people and, okay, the Culling Games type of tournament, right? But he says, my bad, I got to look at this shit. Okay, anyway, the previous journey, the tourney just ended. He said, I know, but I was working on a separate matter, and I happened to moor my ship at this particular island. It's an unaffiliated nation with its own culture, own unique culture. I recommended that they join the world government. Holy Knights, Figurlin family, Sate Garland, future elder. Yes, we know he's an elder now, like, the Goros there. Okay, we know that happens now. Later on, whatever. So, he says, but I cannot secure an agreement. The island is rich in resources and would be a great benefit to us. On top of that, I found something preposterous there. They said, huh? A discovery I never expected to make. The Great One will be quite pleased with it, I'm sure. Therefore, I strongly recommend God Valley for our next competition in 2 years' time. Okay. So he says he found something. He's speaking of a place that he went to. Okay. An unaffiliated nation with its own unique culture. Island rich in resources. And he found something preposterous. I don't know what that could be. I know he not talking about Pirate Island. There ain't no way. So, Shaki's rip-off bar got a line. She need to make a bigger bar, bro. She gonna be making bread. If she asks them niggas to make a bigger bar, they do it. They rip the walls off on the sides. Look at that. They rip the walls off on this side. You see my mouse right here? They'd rip them out, the walls off on each side, left and right. Expand that motherfucker wide. Cause this line, you see the line she got coming out the bar, bro? That shit wild. She got them niggas around her finger. Damn. It's a rip-off bar. She said, somebody in there like, yo, it costs that much? I can't pay that much. Step around back and you'll do 2 years free labor. Damn. What? You said what? Okay, these dudes is like, they all in there, bro. Look at how many dudes. Look at it. Look at this. Look at them, bro. I'm sure there's fighting every day. Like, it's gonna be some uncivilized dude trying to like kidnap Shaki, like like Roger talking about right now. Right? There's gonna be some uncivilized dude trying to kidnap her or something. She can knock him out probably, but then half of these dudes gonna knock him out anyway. Okay, let's go though. This dude said, I came all the way from the North Blue. I hear that you've got great whiskey here. Everyone says your stew is the best, Shaki. She started laughing. She said, oh, that's so sweet of them. How precious. And she pouring up drinks, right? He said, but I don't cook for the likes of you. What? And they all screaming, huh? What? He said, it's always, he said, it's just like I always imagined. This is the best. So they like getting disrespected by Shaki. That's the type of, okay, yeah, that's why Roger he was getting stepped on. He liked that shit. He's trying to get tied down. He said, yeah, okay, that's funny. She about to be a dominatrix out here. Except for with Rayleigh. That's the only one. But he said, this is just like I've always imagined. This is the best. I get a special order. But she says, well, who's that? Oh, no, they got a cook. They got a chef. Okay, the chef in the background. He said, I've got an order of my special simmered beans for you, Shaki. Oh, and we're all out of whiskey. And cheap rum, too. Okay, she said, here's your high-end whiskey. I've never been so thankful. Yo, that's crazy. They're just like, they know their service is bad. He said, I've never been so thankful for this abysmal service. It's abysmal, but I love it. Okay, Rox is there too. She said, what's the matter, Rox? You seem so fulfilled. If I didn't know any better, I might have think you've lost interest in me. He said, huh? And Big Mom there. Okay, Big Mom there too. She's slapping him on the back. And she said, hey, see, a woman's intuition could be scary. They all laughing at him. He said, hey, pipe down. It's supposed to be a secret from everyone. They said, what are you talking about? What? Oh, no, Whitebeard said, what are you talking about? What are y'all all talking about? Stussy said, you're so dense. And she starts thinking. She thinks to herself. She said, it's not just that a woman. It's not just a woman that's the face of the new father. What is that? What the fuck does that mean? It's not just a woman. That's the face of a new father. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on, bro. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait, she says the face of a new father. We gotta see what that mean later. What does that mean? Like, she talking about Rocks and Shaggy? Or Rocks and Big Mom? Because Big Mom starts slapping him on the back. And Shaggy says, no matter what else interested me. Big Mom says, see, a woman intuition can be scary. So, like, she's saying Shaggy's right about him losing interest, right? That's kind of what I'm gathering from that. Like, Shaggy is right about him losing interest in her. Oh shit. Okay, let me just keep reading, right? So Shanks busts into the bar. Hey, Shaggy. Gabon like, hey, Shaggy. Oh, Shaggy. It's me, your lover boy. They say, it's the Roger Pirates. Quick, get a picture. She said, oh, Rod. Then she got cut off. She can't even say Roger's name. Rock starts squaring up with him. Roger, how many times do I have to tell you this is my island? You mad as hell. He said, it's Shaggy. He said, and it's Shaggy's place. No fighting between customers, remember? So quit yapping, Porcupine. Okay, they bought the box. He said, Roger, how many times I gotta tell you this is my island? Get off my shit, man. Get about here, Roger. Okay. So he said, what about the huge line outside? Did you wait the whole time? How'd you get in here? Line? What line? Come on, boys, let's get around to drinks. They said, yeah, let's get some drinks. Okay, so Roger knocked out the whole fucking line, as you see. He knocked out the whole fucking line. Whitebeard leaving. He said, I can't stand the noise those people make. Closing out Newgate, put it on Rox's tab. So he didn't close his tab. He said, just throw that shit on Rocks. So, okay. Shaggy pulling up on Roger, sparkling, talking about, oh, Roger, where's Ray? He said, oh, I told him to come with us, but he's resting on the ship. Said he wasn't feeling good. Okay. Gloriosa diving at Roger. She said, eek, Roger, darling, how I've missed you. You finally come to take me away on your ship. He said, Gloriosa. It's like he's scared. Like, yo, get off of me. I fucks with Shaggy. He said, I keep telling you, no, I don't need a woman who throws hearts all over the place causing chaos. But what? Yeah, that don't make no sense. Like, that's what Shaggy does. He said, but Shaggy would be an exception, of course. What kind of logic is that, she said. That shit don't make no sense. Like, he just fuck with Shaggy too much. And Shaggy wanted Ray. He wanted Rayleigh. He gone. Which he said. Pouting and shit. Okay. Roger mad. Like, damn. He mad as hell. He said, hey, is Newgate around? I want to have a drink. Big Mom laughing. She said, he just left. Her mama. Her mama. Ha ha ha. That's stupid. Rayleigh, why didn't he come? He said, stupid Rayleigh, why didn't he come? So, like, since Shaggy's all sad and she left the area because Rayleigh didn't come, Shanks is mad now, like, damn, Rayleigh, you should have pulled up, man. Shaggy will be leased over here. Time to ship out Binks's brew. They on a boat right here? Oh, this is Roger's boat, right? Okay, and then Shaggy fell out. They said, oh, Shaggy passed out. Miss Shaggy, let's tend to you. Get your grubby paws off her. Get your grubby man paws off. Okay, so they all started running toward her. And they said, by Shakuyaku's own decree, any who visited her bar were forbidden from fighting on the island. So even when rival pirates crashed, yep, I knew that's how it was going to be, right? Even when the rival pirates arrived on her bar, there was no warfare. Nobody fought. But they said it was a different story at sea. So, Rocks got to leave his own island. Yo, hold on, but listen. Whoa, what the fuck was that? I just saw some shit, right? So first of all, let me say this, right? Shaggy got it like that, to the point Rocks got to leave his own island. He leaves his own island to go fight because there's no fighting at Shaggy's bar. You can't fight in the island if you boxing at the bar or if you came to the bar. You can't do that. No fighting on Pirate Island. That's crazy, right? So that's a wild rule. There's no fighting on Pirate Island. Like, not no real big battles, right? Niggas will fight all day. Arguments, beer, or, bar fight they take it outside maybe. But ain't no real big fights on there, right? Nothing like that. So technically Roger damn near did just break the first rule, right? Because he just like stormed in there and knocked everybody the fuck out, right? So yeah, Roger that's Roger. That is Roger. So we are now at the underworld on Albaz. Now, real quick, let me get up. One second, my bad. I gotta change this music. Okay, here we go. Underworld, Elbaf. So it's a hockey clash in the underworld. Doom. Big hockey clash. So okay, that sword was definitely in the tree before Loki. I feel like it still is from an ancient giant or older giant or something, but I thought that was Loki's sword. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it could be secretly Loki's sword still. My theory is out the window. Because Loki's a kid and the sword is there. But anyway, so it's a giant hockey clash in the underworld. Boom. Loki's holding on to a tree, the tree shaking. He's like, and the tree breaks off. He's flying away. Fast as hell, far as hell. He's gone, okay? So you see all the animals running away, even like the little crazy looking wolf, right? They're all running away. Everybody's running. Even Kid Harden is there watching in the underworld, watching these niggas. And it's Rocks and Harold clashing. Boom, swords clashing, little sword versus big sword. Damn. Okay, now what is this? Let me interpret this, right? So they both get flung back. They both fly back. Rocks is flying back with giant trees around him. Harold's flying back, sliding back on the ground. They both clashed. Damn, both of them are fucked up. They both bleeding. He said, how could you let the government get inside your head like that, Harold? He said, believe me, I wavered on this. See, okay, that's what I was talking about before, right? I figured Harold was the type of man that he was going to be in that position like, fuck it, I got to do it for my country. So he was going to just inevitably, obviously do that shit. He was going to attack Rocks. So he said, believe me, I wavered on this. Okay, boom, he stabs the sword into the ground. Rocks jumps over it. Okay. He says, so this is important to you this is so important to you that you would kill your own friend to make it happen? You're just falling into line. They're using you and you don't even realize it. Bink, he hit the sword. They clashed again. Big hockey clash. He said, don't you see? And this is their answer. They only see your kind as a military force to be harnessed. Then they'll turn you into slaves and call you soldiers. Where is your warrior pride gone? What does your own free will say? Don't act like you understand any of that. Knocked him away. Boom. Rox is coughing out blood. He said our history of violence from when we called ourselves warriors is nothing but a shackle that weighs Elbaf down. Now that we seek the way of peace. And then he's thinking in his head. They said, I think you're a good man. He's thinking of all the journey he went on and shit like that. Are people talking to him? Or is this just one time somebody's talking to him? Some king. They said, I think you're a good man, Harold, but we've been raided by the giants in the past. And he's looking sad. They said, fear is not so easily wiped clean from the nation's mind. Sorry. He said, listen, Rox, no matter how foolish and impetuous the celestial dragons may be, they have the power to usher Elbaf into the circle of the world. Wait, did I just read that wrong? They have the power to usher Elbaf into the circle of the world. No longer will we be on the outside. He said, stop it. He's holding his head. Stop it, you soft coward. He jumped in the air, and I don't know what the fuck he did. Did he swing it can't be a sword swing, but he hit him with some sort of blast that's flying, the energy, you see the energy flying out his back. Damn. He jumped in the air and cracked him with something. He said, the talks are off. I'm never inviting you again. So they done with each other. He said, no, I ain't fuck with you no more. Rox said, the talks are off. I'm never inviting you again. He said, I am the king. I can't risk my people's lives on the battle. Wait. I can't risk my people's lives on the losing battle of a villain like you. Okay, so he's talking about him teaming up to take down the world government. I feel like they could have did it. They probably could have did it, bro. I feel like they could have did it. But Harold, he's coming from an understandable place. When he said that's a little more understandable right there. When he said that, I can't risk the lives of my people on what do you say? On a losing battle. On the losing battle of a villain like you. Called him a villain finally. He said they could not see eye to eye, the narrator does. They're screaming, they're still fighting. The odd little friendship between them came to an end. And for the time being, they no longer met. Okay, so they walked away. Until the day of that fateful incident. Kid Loki reading more news about Rox, he's thinking. And he could read with the bandages on too, by the way. Like, unless he has them off, maybe. They said more news about Rox. Somebody said Rox isn't coming, Loki. Shut up, you old hag. So that's Harden's mom. She said, you want me to pour you some juice? He's mad as fuck and said, yeah. Yeah, Loki is stupid. He said, yeah. He want the juice. He's mad, but he said, yeah, okay. I want some juice. She like, y'all, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. I don't know where Oda got this idea from. Maybe he just thought of it. Maybe this dynamic existed in something before. I haven't really seen it. The only place I've seen this sort of dynamic is with Jotaro. Or real life, a certain type of people yell at their parents like that all day. But yeah, like Jotaro from JoJo. He'll call his mom a bitch, shut up, you bitch. And then she just say, oh, you want some juice? He'll take some juice. Like, okay, that's funny. Okay, now we're getting 1 year or 1 year later, again, 1 more year later. West Blue, 39 years ago. So we went down from 40 years ago to 39, right? We hear two babies crying. It seems like they're crying. Oh, I would have thought they were crying on two opposite sides of the peaks, right? Because of the way the speech bubbles are, you see the crying. But no, God Valley, they say, oh, it's twin boys. They said they're so adorable and they've got your red hair. Yes, they do. So yeah, his mother is the one with the red hair, like I thought. It's the only obvious answer, right? Because, you know, Garland's hair is blonde or white or whatever the fuck. So, and they've got your red hair. So we know, so we also know that Shamrock's hair is officially red, even though the hints all aligned and told us that his hair was red this whole time because of how people mistook Shamrock for Shanks and they called him red hair. And they said, oh yeah, he was here, right? So that was it right there. But We know officially nobody has to debate about it anymore. His hair is red. And she said, yes, they do. We can only hope they turn out as wise as you. Without their father around, we'll have to help with that. Thank you, sir. And what are their names? Shanks and Shamrock. Okay, so the twin boys. We're gonna find out how exactly Shanks got put in a treasure chest at God Valley. We're gonna find that out because Roger finds him. And this woman with red hair, who is this woman? We're gonna find that out too. It seems like wherever they're at in God Valley, it doesn't seem like they're slaves or anything like that. These people that are here, they're living too happy. She has the baby. There's no celestial dragons taking the kids. So this must just be like other people in royal families. You know, other people in celestial dragon families and shit like that. Right? Other members of the celestial dragon clan, or however you want to say that. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Now, like always, let me go back to the beginning. Okay. Right? Go back to the beginning and let's take a screenshot of everything since the beginning, right? Let's take the screenshot. And then I will speak about this chapter. Give me 1 second. I know people watching like, what the hell is going on? If you're watching. I'm taking screenshots because I'm going to talk about the entire chapter, post-chapter, right now. And okay. My bad. Hold on. Yo, is Blackbeard Big Mom's son? I wonder, bro. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. The screenshot time. You feel me? Screenshot. Okay. The fact that Rox already does, he knows the deeper truth of the world government. He pulled up on Emu. Nobody knows about Emu's existence, bro. I don't know why he won't tell people or something like that, right? He should tell people. I feel like if Rox told people, obviously people would listen, right? All right. Now, all right. This is the part in the video where I basically will be recording a video. I'm gonna talk about the full chapter right now. And I'm gonna chop this out, upload it as a video. So let me go full screen and talk about this chapter, because that shit was kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. All right, listen. I think this is fine. That's big enough. Okay. Man, listen. I don't know how I'm gonna start this. So I'm about to like chop this out and I'm gonna upload it as a video. So I gotta think of how I'm gonna start it because it's gonna be a video, right? Okay. Chapter 1158 of One Piece. Rocks versus Herald. Yeah, we finally found out officially whose grave this was. Maybe I was out of the loop. Okay, I didn't know that they were from the Kozuki family, but hey, we found out now officially. We see the front of the grave and the name. It's the guy who fought Kaido and died, and when Kaido killed him, I don't know what he hit him with. He must have hit him with a blast breath because they say no trace of his body remained. He is nobody. So this grave is just here in name only. Like his body is just gone. Okay, so Kaido must have blast breathed him away. That must have been it. So the chapter really starts out showing us the Roxas crew at sea, and Rox is upset about something. He's over here pouting, making a stupid face. And they're talking about Shaki, and they find out that she's on Pirate Island and whatnot. Rayleigh pulls up. No, not Rayleigh, my bad. Gabon pulls up on Rayleigh, asks him, what did y'all talk about? Why is the captain so mad? Roger basically finds out that Shaki gave Rayleigh a love letter. That means that, Shaki loves Rayleigh. So Roger gave up, but then he kind of says, nah, forget that. I'm not going to give up. I'm coming back. So they, they want to go visit Shaki on Pirate Island. Roger talks about kidnapping her, right? Because he's talking about how they're true pirates. So he's talking about kidnapping her. So this is how, a lot of stuff is going to start happening between Rocks and Roger, because they're going to steal that Hachinosu treasure, right? I wonder how are they going to get to God Valley, though? Like, why would Roger pull up there? Is he chasing Rocks? I don't know. We're going to find that out. But anyway, there was a scene right here with Garland talking to the Gorosei, and I don't know what he's talking about exactly. He's like really vague. He's talking about he was dealing with an unaffiliated nation, obviously unaffiliated with the world government, right? But he's dealing with the nation, and they got rich resources, and the land could benefit the world government. But he found something, as he said, preposterous there. I don't know what he's talking about, but he found something there, and he makes this ominous ass face at the bottom saying, the Great One will be pleased with it, I'm sure. So I don't know what it is that he found there on God Valley, but he's the reason why God Valley was chosen for the next place of the competition. Now, I really can't even imagine what he found there. Did he find Kuma? Like, I mean, Imu wouldn't be pleased with that. Like, what could it be? Like, is it a person? I don't know. I really don't know. But that's a big question right there. So we know Garland's going to be the future elder also, right? So we go straight into next. Shaki has her bar, and her line is super, super long for her bar, okay? There's a lot of people there, and, obviously it's the rip-off bar. People are going there to get abused by Shaki and, like, disrespected and talked to, like, like they're trash and all that. They're saying, oh, I've never had this abysmal service, and they're thankful for that shit. They know the whiskey's cheap and all that sort of shit. So they're going there to get abused by Shaki, right? Shaki, she just got it like that. Everybody's pulling up to get abused by her, right? So then, who pulls up? Roger pulls up to the bar, okay? Now, obviously, we all know what's going to happen. We all know, like, Roger and Rocks got some beef, so we knew that they were going to, like, get in some sort of, like, argument or fight, but like I've been saying, I feel like the Pirate Island, the bar on the Pirate Island, is going to have that sort of like, hands-off policy. Like if you ever seen John Wick, whenever every agent, it doesn't matter who you are, if you got beef with this dude, it doesn't matter how you want to kill this dude because he killed your whole family in front of you. If you're all meet in that same building, if y'all all are inside that same building at the same time, you got to respect the rules, and nobody is killing anybody in there. You got to take that shit outside. So her bar has that same, I think there's a name for that. I can't think of that, but her bar has the same sort of rule that, like, you know, you're gonna respect that shit no matter what. And everybody's upholding it. Rock's got to leave his own island to fight somebody. That's his island. He got to leave the island to fight somebody because of Shaggy, right? But anyway, let's get to the next part. I took a screenshot of this because, like, I was wondering what the hell this dialogue meant. And now let me just break it down, right? So Shaggy pulls up on Rocks and says, you know, what's the matter? You seem so fulfilled. If I didn't know any better, I might think you lost interest in me. He's like, what? He's smiling and shit, looking stupid. And Big Mom starts slapping him on the back. She said, see, a woman's intuition could be scary. So immediately that means whatever Shaggy's saying is most likely right? Because she saw through him, right? So Big Mom already told Rocks that Shaggy was going to realize that or whatever, right? He's saying, hey, pipe down. It's supposed to be a secret from everybody. Whitebeard says, what are you talking about? Okay, and we got Stussy over here, another woman, I feel like I said women, another woman, right? They got the intuition in this scene that's going to be important because she says you're so dense. So obviously she knows what's going on, right? She says you're dense to Whitebeard, and she thinks in her head, it's not just a woman. It's not just a woman. I think I cut the rest of it off by an accident, but she said it's not just a woman. That's the new face of her father. She's talking about Rocks, I think, bro. Did Rocks have a kid with Big Mom? Is Blackbeard Big Mom's son? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's a big question. What's going on with that? It said that's the face of a new father. And she said you lost interest in me. Big Mom said, see, I told you she was gonna know that. He said, be quiet. Nobody's supposed to know. What do you think that is? What do you think that means? Okay. I think that's, you know, Rock's got a son on the way. That's what that's meaning right there, maybe. I don't know. But right here, we see Rocks. I mean, I keep calling Roger Rocks. Okay. Every time I'm about to mention Roger's name, I say Rocks. I got to stop doing that. But Rocks destroyed the entire crew of people outside. Whitebeard leaves. Okay, I'm not going to stay on the small details, but we get to this part right here. Shaggy wants to know where Rayleigh is. Long story short, he's not there. He's on the ship. You know, Roger denies Gloriosa with something that doesn't make any sense. He has no logic. He said, I don't need a woman who's throwing hearts all over the place and causing chaos, but Shaggy's an exception, of course. That it doesn't make sense, but he's like, no, I'm just fucking with Shaggy more than you. He could have said that. So, you know, Shaggy leaves and all that, and she passes out. And I guess, you know, it's a part of the whole love sickness thing that she has going on. So even Roger was saying earlier that he noticed something was ailing her, and he was feeling bad about that. They don't know it's the whole love sickness thing. We're dealing with Rayleigh and everything, right? So yeah, like I said earlier, they can fight at sea, but not inside the bar. No fighting inside the bar. But we get to Elbaf. Kid Loki and little kid Harlden holding on to trees and shit, hiding, watching his father, their father, fight Rocks. Okay, Rocks pulled up on Harold and started fighting him. That shit was inevitable. I don't know if Rocks knows that Harold was directly ordered to kill him, because he didn't do it yet, and he didn't mention it in this chapter, right? But they are fighting because Rocks knows that Harold is completely aligned with the world government at this point, right? And there's something I've been saying about that, like, and the fact that Rocks pulled up on Emu kind of validates what I've been thinking about Rocks, because I feel like he's one of the only people in this era, that know about the bigger picture of dealing with the world government, you know what I mean? And how Emu, and there's somebody sitting at the top of the throne. He knows that truth. That's why he was able to even pull up into that room, because he knows that there's somebody in there, and you know, that was a goal. He knows about that. That's why he wants to take down the world government. He knows how to do it. He knows he got to take down Emu. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is just, I guess, satisfied with being pirates. He wants the world, like he said. I don't know how he knows that truth, but he knows that truth. And I'm sure, obviously, Rocks might know that. I mean, Blackbeard, his son, might know the same truth. Okay, he might know that same truth because their goals are the same. And how else you gonna like realistically take the world over if you don't know who you're targeting, right? Rox knows who he's targeting. He said, "I'll be back." So he's trying to get those two devil fruits from, God Valley or wherever he's going to get them from God Valley. That's where he wants to go get them from. He's not going to get them. We know he dies. But anyway, he starts, talking about, yeah, they're going to turn you into slaves and they want to just use your people as military power and all that. Calls him a coward, hits him with a strong ass attack. I don't know where the hell, like, was it a sword swing? But then it's like a circular blast going into his stomach, coming out the back. No, did he? Like, I don't know. Like, Rox is strong as fuck. That's the long story short. He's strong as fuck. He can go toe to toe with Harold. Harold can't dominate him in a fight. They're clashing with hockey all day down there. Okay, I'm surprised the tree didn't split apart. But they're not friends anymore. They're done with all that. So we go to Kid Loki. We see Kid Loki sitting here. And I think this panel right here should put to rest everybody wondering if Kid Loki can see through the bandages. Because he's been seeing this whole fucking time. But some people still question it. If you don't see him reading a paper, he's reading a newspaper with bandages on his face. What more of a notion or sign do you need to know that Loki can see with the bandages on, bro? Now, whether or not his eyes are special, maybe the bandages are thin enough that he can see, but like nobody wants to see his eyes. I don't know. I think it can be either one. I don't know. Like, his eyes still could be special. He could have some Sharingan or some shit. He could probably see shit nobody else can. I don't know. But we don't know that. And we get this scene right here, and I keep saying this reminds me of Jotaro. I don't know if y'all watch or know about JoJo, but that nigga Jotaro, he treats his mom just like this. Like, she said, Rox isn't coming, Loki. Shut up, you old hag. You want some juice? Yeah. And he just takes the juice, right? So it's like Jotaro, except he's not calling her a bitch. He's just calling her old hag. And Jotaro calls his mom a bitch all day. But so we go to God Valley in the West Blue. One more year after the events or whatever the hell we were seeing here. Everybody fighting everything. Rox, Roger, Harmon. And we see the birth of the twins, Shamrocks and Shanks. I call them Shank. Shamrock and Shanks, okay? I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know who this woman is. But she has red hair. Like everybody obviously knows, because Garland's hair isn't red, so we know their mom has to have the red hair, right? Their mom is the one with the red hair. Shanks and Shamrock being born on God Valley, and Garland talking about something preposterous being on God Valley. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't know. So we're gonna find out exactly what the hell he's talking about. Why the fuck they're born on God Valley specifically. Like, and the people who she's talking to, like their mom, like, who are they exactly? Like, I can't scroll up. I'm having trouble. But listen, okay, here we go. Who are they exactly, right? I'm assuming since they're living so peaceful and they're not like, the babies didn't get immediately taken and stolen. I'm assuming that they're like, part of some royal family, like celestial dragons, other family members and shit like that. I don't know. Because they're living kind of peaceful, it looks like. They're on God Valley. So we're gonna find out all that. We're gonna get them answers. Like, what did Garland see? What did he find on God Valley? Okay, and Harold and Rox. How was Harold gonna try to? I mean, he might not even have to kill Rox anymore. He might stop pursuing that because Rox ends up dying at God Valley anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we might see that happen too. But as far as that goes, I don't think there's anything else to say about this chapter. If I think anything else I left out, I'll probably put it in the comments on the video, because I am chopping this out of the live stream and making it a video. But yeah, I guess that's really it for me, man. I just read the whole chapter, talked about it. If I think of something else, I'll write it in the comments, but I'm out.